Good evening. Welcome to Wizards Outlook. Got Raymond Lyons, Tarpey Jr. No Cardell tonight, handling GW. As you guys all saw, the Wizards snapped their 6-game slide, beating the Sixers on the road, 106-103. This is also, I think, like one of the, what is this, the first one in the last 9 trips to the city of Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
Washington. Like, they just don't win there. Like, for like the last 9 trips, you see them on the schedule, you see that it's away, you just go ahead and circle it, put the L up there, and keep it moving. They reversed them. They reversed that today, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. As always, we start with a quick word from our folks over at Uzanas. Uzanas Soul Food, as a black-owned business, Uzanas has been a staple in the community, serving as a safe space since its founding in 2003. Striving to preserve black culture, Uzanas uses their talents in the genre of soul food. The restaurant stands with those peacefully protesting injustice, fighting against hatred and racism, and working to create an inclusive community for all. Support black-owned businesses. Get to the Georgia Avenue location today. It's open for dine-in, carry-out, and delivery. Sunday through Thursday, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. And Sunday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Again, get over to oozandoz.com for more information in terms of hours. As I just shared, and get a quick look at what's on the menu. All right, Ray, the floor is yours. Washington snaps their 6-game slide tonight, and we see all y'all in the comments. We're gonna get to y'all just a little bit. Y'all know how business goes here. Get to you guys in just a bit.
Yeah, this is a great win, man. Like plain and simple. They came out, handled business on the road against one of the top teams in the East. And that's truthfully the potential of this team, man. Like when they had the hot start, this was basically a nightly thing. This type of effort, you know, and that's what kind of makes it so frustrating when we see the other side, because it's the polar opposite. No team is going to win every game, but you can't be you can't go from one end of the spectrum to the extreme other end. That's why their record looks the way it looks. Because of the inconsistency. But they they stuck to their winning formula. They took care of the ball, they played defense, and they moved the ball on offense. They do those things, then typically the result is favorable. So it was good to see them put it together, especially after the recent slide. They dropped 6 in a row. Who knows where they were at mentally. But yeah, man, they came out and got it done. Kuzma, he was aggressive and confident as he's been for much of the year. He's growing up, man. And who knows where Washington would be without him. I like the way they closed this game. They were up 5 and B came back in. It was super aggressive, but they withstood the onslaught and held them in check for the most part and close out the game, man. That's what it takes. I don't know, man. I don't know what got into them tonight, but they kind of reverted back to the way they started the season. And if they can continue to play like this, then they're going to get those type of results. It's just that simple. Whatever they need to do to make this a normal thing, please do that. There was a lot of talk about rotations recently and things like that. It seemed to be a little bit tighter tonight. And even still with that, West was kind of experimenting with some things and it worked out. Maybe we see more of it moving forward, but yeah, man, from top to bottom, just an all around good win. Yeah, this is just keep doing this, Wizards. so all of our lives could just be a little bit easier, man. But yeah, definitely a good win, and hopefully they can string a little few more together like this.
Yeah, I thought they got off to a solid start in the first quarter. And one of the things you mentioned, they took care of the ball. Thought they did. That goes a long way in any game, especially when you're on the road. As a road team, take care of the ball goes a tremendous way. We've seen them have, you mentioned them not being able to find like a steady middling ground. It's always polar extremes to nothing good to a poised team down the stretch that looks like they have veterans that have been in this league before. But like that wide gap in between, it's a multiverse of just there's just a big gap. And like you mentioned, we talk about it. We've been so what they snapped a 6 game streak losing streak. So for 6 games, what have we been talking about? Taking care of the ball. How about you rebound? How about you defend? One of the things I enjoyed tonight was people were active off the ball. Usually, the only person we see cutting is Corey Kispert. Tonight, I don't know what happened tonight. That message was received well. Multiple people were cutting, and not just cutting the cut, but cutting with intention. And it was timely cuts, and it worked out for them. Trez hit a couple folks sliding back door. Denny had a couple timely cuts as well. They were just poised. Like you mentioned, they had a couple rough spots where the Sixers are a good team. They're going to go on runs and whatnot. They had a couple 3+ minute droughts with no field goals, but they were able to get to the free throw line at times. And then most of all, they ended up winning the game because of defense. All the stuff that we've been talking about, the stuff that we've noticed has been missing. Those are the things that showed up tonight. And like Ray said, that's what's frustrating. Because we're not bringing it up because they can't do it. It's because we've seen them do it. And we're trying to figure out what the heck is the reason that you won't do it. Because it just doesn't add up. The wide swinging differences between how they perform, depending on the personnel and all that other stuff. Again, I think last night we were all in agreement. There's at least 15 issues, and then there's sub issues underneath each issue. And then tonight, just only while it's great to get the W, it only raises more questions. Again, we said it was gonna be a long 9 days to the trade deadline. We got a long 8 days until the trade deadline. A lot of this stuff just doesn't make sense. But like you said, big game from Kuzma. Trez obviously came up big down the stretch, and I thought Dinwiddie was great in terms of he didn't shoot the ball well, but as far as a floor game goes, I thought he turned the ball over a little bit more than he typically does, but he did a good job, especially late. They seem to always be in a flow. Even the time when they had droughts with field goal droughts, it wasn't because of bad offense. It felt like just it didn't feel like it did the past 5 or 6 games where it's just, what the heck are you doing? Why are you taking that shot? I thought Raul Neto had some good minutes tonight too, playing his role as a floor general a little bit. It was just a solid win. You got a lot of contribution for your bench, but it's just one game. The challenge now, like we've been saying, is you go out on Saturday and lay an egg. This doesn't matter at all. It just literally doesn't matter. Let's go on to here you go. No longer asking the question. So
Coos. Just a tough overall performance. Then made the defensive play to seal the game. And that was a great play, man. He adjusted like 2 or 3 times in one play and got the block, secured the ball, and forced the foul on Embiid. So yeah, definitely Kuzma.
Yeah, I'm with you. All the reasons you named, and it felt like he was kind of picking the spots. Like you said, he's been growing up little by little, and we'll see what that means with the next 8 days and decisions and how all that other stuff goes. But it was fun. I think after last game he was talking about he's enjoyed the lineups when him, Denny, and Rui were on the floor together at times because what they do defensively. We saw that in spurts tonight when the 3 of them were out there. But Kuz was huge, and especially on that last play because I was like, is anyone going to try to block it or everyone going to try to draw a charge? You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the league we're in. But he did a great job blocking the shot, securing the rebound, and While they struggled from the line at times throughout the course of the game, they made them when they counted down the stretch as a team. Like even a Rook Kisper had hit some big shots down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Credit to him for that. All right, so for X Factor, which there's several choices tonight, I believe, but
Um, I went Trez, man. Just for the simple fact that he had to deal with Embiid when he was clearly on a mission, especially when he came back in the game late, and then with his contributions on both ends, he made some key baskets down the stretch. Those hit like 2 or 3 big floaters. Yeah, and that coupled with his defensive intensity, I think he really was a big part of them being able to close this game up.
yeah, I couldn't really pick between him and Dinwiddie. I went with Dinwiddie just because on a night like this, obviously, the issues Embiid presents them. Yeah, I think he had a team high 12 boards, got his first career triple double, but someone has to rebound with other people that are dealing with that, and he did a good job of it. I think a couple of them were on the offensive end at that, but especially considering how everyone has been talking about him recently, I thought tonight was a good performance from him and one that they needed because I don't think they win
Mm-hmm.
this game without him tonight at all. All right, let's get to these comments. My God, there's 29 of them. Like the bar just kept moving. All right, so you guys know how this goes. We're gonna try to get to as many of them as we can. We'll put them all up on the screen. Might not comment on each and every one. Yes, shout out to Maya. It's like the 5th consecutive time you've been the first one in here. I hope you weren't. See, you got here later this time. See, they didn't stress you out when you were here at halftime. So that's a good thing. Anthony Tony, Kuzma has been clutch. The rest of that, I'm not getting into that. It's none of my business. Shay said a nice W. Shay also said Spence probably read the live chat yesterday and responded with a triple double. Talking about the box score being off. I know. I think like the box score I had on ESPN was a little janky at times. Yeah, and like we said yesterday, like we're not going to see Nets Spencer for a while.
Yeah.
As soon as he decided to come back in 9 months, we're not going to see. Maybe in a couple months you might get shades in Nets Spence, but I don't. Look, man, we talked about it last night. Kuz. So you guys want Kuz here? I see. Okay. What's up with KCP? Why so volatile? Ray, you want to take that one? I guess in terms of the performances, but
I mean, I guess is talking about the up and down shooting, because I mean on defense he's pretty solid every night, but I mean as far as the shooting goes, I mean some days he's getting the touches and some days he's not. It's hard when when you gotta just kind of pick your spots like that, especially for for a shooter. I mean that's really all I got in regards to that. But as long as he plays defense, man, because eventually the shots are gonna fall. Of course, you want it to be, excuse me, a little more, a little more consistent percentage wise, but I'll take what I can get at this point.
yeah, I think the other thing with somebody like Kuz, especially on offensive end, I think is a different type of production if he's playing with like a true table setter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Washington has one of those. You had a lot of people that can move the ball, but some of the I don't think any of those people have key roles as of yet. And then the one that I think Spence can, but he's not himself. So you take him out the equation, it's kind of but somebody like that, like KCP is the type of dude who would have feasted with the point guard that was here, like 4 or 5 years ago, where you just make a living off corner threes, across court passes, those types of finds, things of that nature. But I just think it's like Ray said, there's gonna be games where he's hot. There's gonna be games when he's not. But what he's there for is the consistent effort on the defensive end because Lord knows they need it. You guys are so up and down with your praise. It's so wild. Oh man, and the first one, Area 11 T always the first one to jump out there. All right. Yeah, I think this is the other thing. Like, I know today's kind of like a microwave society and stuff, but I mean that whole trust thing, especially with young players, it never happens as quick as you like, unless you end up being that guy. You know, like you were drafted to be that guy off early. Like it's a little bit different for someone like Denny coming to this situation where Washington in their minds had a guy or whatever. Different conversation, different day versus somebody like John with the Memphis, and we know what time it was. Ja's gonna be on the court regardless.
Right.
Death taxes, good, bad, whatever happens, he's gonna be on the court. So it's just one of those things, and it's gonna continue to grow. I think it's something we mentioned earlier in the year. Just you talk about the rotations. I think they're gonna continue to be a work in progress as folks continue to get healthy, as folks continue to develop too, and earn that trust. He's just a young player, and that's the part of it. That's like literally this is the tough part about like with young players is because there's a lot going on. A lot going on. Like matter of fact, like a couple years ago, people were talking about Kuz like that.
Yeah.
Like to be completely honest, like this isn't. It's not a foreign thing, especially with them type of those types of wings. With that size, you're kind of stuck in the middle, which so many things you can do. Don't really know when to use them all, or you gotta. Like the hard part is the journey, getting to the place where you wake up and it's like, hey, I know every one of my gifts. I know when to use every single one of them in the exact moment. Like, yeah, that's fun when you get there, but the journey there is always up down.
And then these guys are young, man. Like then he got drafted when he was 19. Like that's I think because the league has gotten so young, our patience has gotten thinner. Now for guys been in the league for 3-4 years, they're 22 years old. When in before they'd be a rookie.
Yep.
So it takes time, man. It takes time, and it's not easy to play in the NBA. So that like before, when the learning curve was 3 or 4 years, now it's probably like 5 or 6.
Yep.
So and people just give up on guys way too early. Yeah, I couldn't imagine casting a 20-year-old to the side and saying he's finished and he can never get better. But those are the times we're in, man.
Yeah, like perfect example, like the poster child for that is y'all threw Andrew Wiggins in the trash so quick. Man, it's 25, 26 years old. What are we doing? like the crazy part is if you think about all the youngsters on his team, like Kispert's comfortable because he played a role in college. He's just his role ain't changed. Play defense, move the ball. I'm a team defense guy. Open space, knockdown shot, move ball, don't have ball, move without ball. All right. But again, that's because he was like you in a system, you in a role in college. Like it just is different. And I know that he played in the pros, but again, like it's different. Again, this is why it's different. Like when Luka came over, Luka was in the pros and he was the guy in the pros as a kid. Then he came over having played in the pros, but he wasn't the guy on his team. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think anything screwed up his mind. I think he's 20-something years old. There's a lot going on, and organizations matter. I think that too. Give all them kids some time. Like Rui's still trying to get on track all the way.
Right.
And so it'll happen. And it's just a love for Kispert. Yeah, I think like what's it called? As the seasons go on, he's been more and more comfortable, and I think the shots start falling. But he's been able to get more and more minutes. He's part of the rotation. He's kind of played. He's taking someone else's minutes in the rotation that's supposed to be spreading the floor. So, yeah, I think, and again, going back to that conversation we had about the youth, you could throw Gaff's behind right up in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Throw him in there.
He's definitely in that still trying to figure it out mode.
So it's just tough because you have so many of them, and they're all in like different stages of trying to figure it out. All of them. What's it called? A couple years ago, that wasn't TB. Oh wow, here we go. Big J52, bro, let Bill go and take what players and Pixie brings a bit around Kuz, Rui, and Denny. This I can watch. It is amazing. It definitely is. Never had bad food there, so yeah. Biggie Steve, I don't know where this was for the last 3 weeks either, brother. I have no idea. You got an answer for that, Ray? I do not.
Absolutely not. I ain't gonna try to get one.
We've been wondering the same thing. Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and it's a tough part again. Organizations, culture, all that stuff we were talking about last night with the kind of being rudderless. That's why all that's like there's so much that goes into it, and I would simply be mature and say organizations matter. That's where I'm gonna stay at tonight. Seeing Gaff amazing, yeah. Just like Gaff had some good minutes, but he can't stay out of foul trouble for some reason. He can't figure that out. He had an opportunity to try to probably close the game tonight. Got in foul trouble, did some things, and contributed to Embiid getting going. And again, that just comes with time. Especially with young bigs, they got to figure out how to. Especially with young athletic bigs, you think you can get everything, but you shouldn't go get everything. Because you can move doesn't mean you should try to move all the time. Sometimes use your length, like you got to pick and choose. But it comes with experience. Yeah, I mean, So, like, again, those are one of the guys when you saw whoever was asking about KCP and the shooting. That's one of them things where KCP life would improve a little bit for him, I should say. A lot of love for Kuz, I see. Package his game and sell them all. You said just put this on a loop, Biggie Steve, and just get to making some phone calls. Oh, my bad. Just let the young guys develop in this team dangerous in some seasons, they went on to say. I mean, that's the tough part is, like Ray said, people don't know how to wait anymore. Right? It comes with time. Like, matter of fact, what's it called? You remember when everybody threw Jordan Poole in the trash?
that was fun.
Man, what are the Warriors doing? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, they sent him to the G League again. Oh, he came back from the G League. Oh, my gosh, he's an NBA player. Man, without mental coaching, the kid is capable a lot more than we're seeing out of him. Yes, he is capable, and it'll happen over time. And I think things like tonight are good confidence builders.
Mm-hmm.
You're on a game. You were entrusted to close a game out, and you did your part. Again, it happens over time. Like that's the other thing. You never know when the light bulb fully goes on. We know it from because we can tell the difference, but we don't ever know what the catalyst is for it. We don't know the exact moment or what exactly caused it. But yeah, it'll get there. Y'all just have to be patient. I know being patient sucks, but this is the road that your team chose to go down. Yeah, I mean, Rui can't get 30 minutes yet because he's not probably in a good enough shape to play 30 minutes yet. So eventually.
Oh, relax.
Yeah, yeah, y'all just need to just give it some time, man. Like, you'll probably see more of that lineup, that Kuz, Denny, Rui, depending what happens at the trade deadline, like post All-Star break. Because I think that would be enough games for Rui to probably have his legs up. Like he still doesn't look like he fully has his legs underneath him all the time yet. Like it's coming. Like how many times, like last year, we saw him living off the elbow, so many different moves getting to a mid-range jumper. His legs aren't all the way under there. We've seen a couple times he goes, he gets to the step back and he keeps his dribble alive. They're not underneath him yet. Give him some time. Yeah, just give him some more time, man. I just think the pressure's pressure, period. Like you're trying to prove you were worth what you were, where you were drafted as is. And I just think like that's the other side of it. But yeah, I think it'll be fine. Like you said, he's a second year player. Rui's in his third year. What's important, what I feel like, if you want to like take solace in it, and what I would compare it to is, do you feel like they took the right type of kid? It was the right pick, the right type of kid. You got faith to work and get better. If those are the things you're comfortable with, then yeah, then it doesn't matter when it happens. And like Ray said, just woosah, practice some patience. It's gonna be all right. But it looks like they got the right type of kids. Like it'll come along. Again, what y'all have in those three or at least in those two are things that other people would want. Other teams would love. That's the size and physicality that both of them have, and people are searching for those. And y'all got a bunch of them. Just let them keep them in the oven a little bit longer. Let them marinate, and they'll be fine. Like it's gonna be back, man. All those missed layups when the kid used to dunk out his mind at 18. Yeah, he probably did dunk out his mind at 18, but it wasn't in the NBA. Like, the athleticism is different here, and I think he'll get comfortable too. Got to let them continue to build their bodies up too. Like Denny got a way different build than Rui has. Rui came into the league with an NBA ready body already. He had to work on other stuff, but Denny's body isn't yet ready for the league yet. And Kuz's body was like that when he came out.
To a lot of players, Giannis.
My man went from 190 to the Incredible Hulk over a 5-year span. You know what? 190 to 242, like a chiseled 242 with -3 body fat. Like it'll happen in time, man.
You just got to build that up, man.
Like even Gaff's another one.
Yeah.
It's they're that young. Like, so keep in mind where they are mentally, where the game might be, then throw in the physically. Maybe they're probably not there. So that's like 3 places where that's so many things you're trying to get going. And then mentally, we already know you're lost. You're a rookie in the NBA. You're lost. It's tough. We're left for Kuz. Yes. Yep, and that's the other thing for all of them. Again, organizations matter. Like, for example, you got Denny that came here, Rui that came here, wherever the state of the Wizards was, like, and I don't want to keep harping back on that, but the veterans that they had here is far less stable than the situation that Jonathan Kuminga walked into this year. Totally different thing. Where they can take you and be like, hey, those few things, there's a couple things you do right now that translate to right now. Do those 3 things. Like the other stuff, man, we'll get to later. When you get your G League spots, go nuts. Here's the list. Work on all those things. You come up here, these are the 3 things, kid. I don't need you to do anything outside of those 3 things. And that's what it is. And yeah, these guys don't have that luxury at this time because of the situation that they're in. That's a nice way to say it, right? I think
that was the most diplomatic explanation.
I appreciate it. Denny, Rui, and Kuz on the defensive end is a future. When they click on both ends, the sky's the limit. Yeah, the 3 of them, that could be a nice trio. Then the other question is fitting whatever around them. And this is the thing. I don't know if any of them, we talked about this. I'll just ask you. You think any of them at this point, do you feel like you can build around any of them per se? You can single out one of them to build around, or is it, kind of the other model where you got a good 3, you add to it, and it's just the group?
No, you couldn't build around one of them by themselves. No, this is a group project.
Yep. I just wanted to ask you because I don't take all the answers and everything, but he said I said build around Cousins. You can get on 2K and do whatever you want, sir. I don't know. They might listen to you. We'll find out soon, Biggie Steve. Shaba, I think that'll happen in time. Like he's getting the ball. It's up to him whether he wants to pull the trigger, whatever. You know how the kid plays. What was it called? Last year we were like, hey, Rui should touch the ball more. He was in a nice place with his game last year. Yeah, Trez should be set on go all the time. No, Rui's not a 2, so that would be a no. That would be a no. That'd be a big no. Kyle Johnson, here you go. Wins don't even feel anymore. They got to string about 20 straight together to get my attention. They hurt you, Kyle. Clearly, they have hurt you.
Dang, man, the baseline is a 20-game winning streak.
Man, it said go. You got to go full Phoenix Suns. Oh man, he went hard. He said I didn't even know they played last night. That's tough. I didn't know they played tonight. Keep Rui, Kispert, Benny, Kuz, and Gaff. Biggie Steve said that's the core. Oh no. And again, like we said the other night, I think even like some of the confusion, there's like a cloud around this thing. When some of the furniture gets moved, I feel like a lot of things will be a little bit, and a lot of things get easier. Right now, too much furniture in the living room, and it's not enough space. They got to figure something out. Ray, let you start this one. Your thoughts on John Morant this season? This came out of left field from Kervin Abreu.
He's balling, man. Yeah, that definitely was random, but yeah, he's taking another leap. Yeah, and he's getting close to kind of pushing himself into that next level of player.
Oh yeah, and what Ray said, he was worth the pick. That's the type of thing you build around, and yeah, it's kind of ironic. He reminds me of somebody, got some traits or whatever. But again, I'm being mature today, and it's cool. Memphis is a great place, and if you think about it, look at what Memphis did. They went and got guys that played in college that were comfortable. Like, hey, you know how to play in a role. Come on through. So here, it was just getting acclimated to the NBA game. In terms of playing a role, like everyone's comfortable. Look at the growth of Desmond Bain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, that's a heck of a backcourt. Like, they're doing what they're doing. Dillon Brooks isn't around right now. Like, they done changed centers out. Like, nothing's changed. They're a young, scrappy, feisty, annoying team that's not going anywhere. You're going to have to put them to sleep in the playoffs. They're not going out willingly. But, yeah, Ja's been amazing. Kyle Johnson said dark times, bro. The Titanic has risen. Watch it sink again. Oh, man. We appreciate the love. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Y'all didn't tune in or provide the comments, so, we wouldn't have anything to respond to. We would have been off air about 25 minutes ago. Guess we broke even in the trade with LA. I mean, it's like Ray and Cardo said, they've had a chance, and they have a chance any night if they come out and compete. Like, but they control that. So, do you think Trez might handle a guy like Rui, considering Trez always wants the ball? No, because what do you think, Ray? I guess I'll wait till Ray gets back, but I'll answer. I would say no. They're not the same type of player. Like, even how Trez was tonight, you had him out top a little bit, finding cutters and things of that nature. Rui, somebody you could post depending on the matchup at times. I just think a lot of the stuff with Rui, I know you guys want him to do more. I think y'all just got to let him get his legs underneath him, honestly. Like, I think that's 98% of it. Just give us some time. We'll see what it looks like when he has his legs back. And we'll see what he's improved on, etc. But, like, right now, he's just trying to get back into the flow. And even, last year before, he seemed like the type that doesn't really force things. So, I'm sure as he feels better, he'll get back going. Welcome back, Ray. They were asking,
What I miss?
so I answered this question just now, and they were asking, do we think Trez might hinder a guy like Rui, considering Trez always wants the ball? And I was just like, I don't think so because they don't play the same. They don't even occupy the same spot on the floor, or when they do, they do it differently. Like Cool's on the block, back to the basket, not really. Rui gets a smaller guy on him. He's comfortable like that. Got turnaround jumpers, all that thing. Trez got that 15-foot runner. That's a jumper for Rui. Rui can, as a cutter, can receive passes from Trez. I just think like what I was essentially saying was all the stuff with Rui. I just think we'll find out when he gets more comfortable, like when he's all the way back, because Rui's not a jack. He's not a guy that's going to just take shots to be taking shots while he finds his rhythm. So, but go ahead if you want to chime in on this.
Yeah, no, I think so I think Rui can feed off of Trez, because I mean, at times Trez gets aggressive and looks at the rim, but other times he is looking to distribute as well. We saw that tonight. He's finding guys cutting back door and things like that. So and Rui kind of plays that in between space really well. So I think I don't think they'll have a problem fitting alongside each other.
Yeah, I think even times when we've seen when teams play zone against them, Trez isn't able to flash middle, turn face, and knock down a jumper. Like that's one of the things that I give Washington credit for. Since Rui's been back, when they see his zone and he's on the court, that boy is right at the nail. Hit me, I'm turning, facing, midi, we're done here. Not playing any games. So now I think they can play together. I feel like we don't use Rui enough in the pick and roll like we did his rookie season. Some of that comes down to like his rookie season. Who was here at the one?
Yeah.
Things are a little bit different.
Change.
Y'all been through some changes. Oh man, Kyle Johnson, boy. Oh man, I don't even know. Put that one up. Again, that's something I think when folks get more healthy, and that's probably something we might see post All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
When some of the smoke clears and we know what's here and what's not here. And also like when Spence gets back to feeling right. Like I think that's some of it too. There's a lot of stuff I think can't happen because Spence just ain't Spence right now.
Yeah, that
that
makes a difference, man.
Yeah, like a whole lot of it. Kyle Johnson, keep the players off the bottom. Please find the system and stick to it. Again, until some of the smoke clears, I don't think we're gonna get to that part. They got a log jam at a couple different positions and people all over each other's feet in terms of where to be on the floor at times, considering they don't have the greatest amount of shooting. So yeah. And then again, your like main or best distributor is on one wheel. So, no. I only posted it because I kept my word. I said I post everything. Y'all know why. What did TB do to you, Kyle? Man, they do anything to deserve that. I think that's all the comments, right? So with that, we're going to get out of here. I think their next game is at home against the Suns on Saturday. I'll double check. I don't want to get to lying to anybody. Yep, they got the Suns at home on Saturday, and then Monday they host the Heat. And then later that week they got the Nets again. So fun times. Gotta love it, right? But like this is the thing. I think what we're all interested in seeing is can they replicate this effort come Saturday? Because if you don't, the Suns ain't the Sixers. They're gonna get you up out. They're gonna run you out your gym. Whether they got Aiden or they don't got Aiden, they're gonna get you up out of here. They're not playing any games. He said he ain't helping. If so, explain how. You talk about TB? I mean, he just got back. Like I got TB. Like at least for me, TB's in the same boat as Rui right now. Like they can't possibly just because they're back don't mean they're back. Like they're not back. I can tell you one thing he does do initially. He said yes, sir. So he talked about TB. Like one thing he's been able to do. He's the only big on the roster that you can pick and pop with.
Mm-hmm.
That opens the floor a little bit, creates some driving lanes, things of that nature. But even like pre-injury TB, we saw him on the boards more, mixing it up a little bit. Like some of that, I think you just gotta wait till he gets right. Like I think that's most of it. Like he's just not right. Just like Rui doesn't have his legs, TB just got hurt. Like I think he got an ankle sprain, so that doesn't help. Like they're not back. But what you think, right? I don't want to answer that.
Yeah, no, it's gonna take some time, man. Like I think they both still on minutes restriction. So yeah, obviously, you're not your complete self if you're not even allowed to play the normal minutes that you would under typical circumstances. So I mean, the guy's coming back off of ACL. It's going to take some time.
And what's it called? He was out longer than Spence, and he's 6'10". Like we saw Kev sit out for 2 years with an Achilles, essentially. It's going to take some time. With the trade bait, I mean, there's a lot of it on the roster, but again, like the value's kind of been, their play has not helped their value all the way. But that is also in the eye of the beholder. Just because I think their value's been sinking, someone else might be like, "Hey, I've been wanting that player. I've wanted player X for the last 3 years. That's what I want. What does it cost?" And we're not privy to those kind of, I know exactly who to call. Like, oh yeah, buddy, I've been waiting. Like he might have a short list where it's like, you said you wanted a shooter. You said you didn't care about the price, huh? Okay. We're shaking. So again, it's gonna be a long 8 days. We'll see what's happening, man. Because there's only but so many really good teams right now in the league at the moment, and there's a lot of teams jumbled up in the standings. Like there'll be teams that are jumbled up in the standings right now. That when some folks come back, they'll be fine. They're gonna go right back to the top of the standings when they belong. Okay, so real quick, and I'll say it slower. I never said he was Kevin Durant. I said Kevin Durant took 2 years to come back. That's what I said. I know TB's not KD, and I would never say that to TB. That is not fair to Thomas Bryant. I just talking about it in terms of how long it took to get back. And Kevin's a tall person, just like TB's a tall person. And tall people, that stuff takes a little bit longer. Like, again, Spence ain't right, and he's 6'6". What's TB? 6'10", 235, 240? Hey, man, that's a wheel? Big struggle when you hurt wheels.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a little bit longer. That's all I meant. That's the only reason I brought up Kev was in terms of how long it took for him to come back. Yeah, I don't know, man. You just talking through it, but appreciate y'all hanging with us tonight. We'll see y'all on Saturday. Again, appreciate y'all support. Thanks for tuning in. Auto Focus TV, as always, and y'all have a great evening.